right, here is the video review for Ocular Max PS-12, their Perfection Series Aerial Defense SALTUS, aka Springer, here in his vehicle mode. In the box, you get his instruction manual, a little thing. You get a decoder tech spec for the actual. If I can reach back here and get it, there actually is a tech spec on his box. So if you want to decode that, you can. Excellent packaging photos, by the way. I just wanted to point that out. Also, you get 3 pieces that form a giant spear. Take this. I think this is from Call the Primitives. It's from one of the episodes, I think, where he rides Razor Claw. But you can put that on and attach this to the middle. Helps if you kind of twist it as you push it down. But yeah, I can give him a giant spear, which we'll get, again, a lot of this we'll get to later on in robot mode. He's got a couple different heads. A smiley cartoon head, the one that's on him, and then something that looks a little angular, looks more like a younger, I want to say slightly more heroic looking head just because of its pointiness and length, but just like a different type of Springer head. This is actually the one that came attached, but I prefer the non-smiling version of the more cartoon-esque head. You get his I've got better things to do tonight than die bomb. A gun and a sword, which can be stored in vehicle mode, and it gets one of my nitpicks out right off the bat. Actually, my only real major nitpick. So there's a couple of extraneous pieces here. This one especially seems easy to lose. This one is designed to go in the gun. See, it fits right there into this slot on the green piece, and then there's a slot here on the side of the gun that you can tab on here. There we go. To have the gun set up here in vehicle mode, which is, like I said, it's superfluous. You can also use this because this ends up being his backpack to attach the gun to his back, and that makes a little bit more sense in robot mode, but it's this whole extra piece. I guess you could kind of leave it attached to the gun if you felt like it, but a very easily losable piece, hard to wiggle out of there. When the handle's folded up, there's a port right back here to allow the gun to peg on here in vehicle mode. I prefer it back there, one less piece of plastic to lose, as well as the fact that, like, these ports on either side, there's one on either side, this little square plate, end up inside the tail of the helicopter. You can see here's the helicopter bits right here. We'll see those in a minute. So, and in robot mode, they're end up on the legs. There's no function for these other than to let the gun sit here. So you really, unless you're going to store this in robot mode, you really don't need this piece. And in robot mode, you can just hold the gun. For the sword, and this is the one that really bothers. It's a minor nitpick. Overall, you're gonna see I quite enjoy this figure, but I feel like in this day and age, if you're designing a Springer, storing the sword somewhere in vehicle mode easily should be just right off the bat rule 1. I mean, you're doing a triple changer. We've got so many different ways of doing it these days. Whether it's just even if it's just alongside the bottom, or even just a way to peg it in here. You can see it doesn't quite fit in any of these tabs or in these hinges. Even just a way to have pegged it onto the side here, just like this, without using an extra piece, would have been nice. Can it go right here? See, none of these pegs. Really, and then these pegs are almost the right size. If they just made those pegs a little bigger, you could have pegged it on right here without using an extraneous piece. Anyway, this piece, you can see how it's kind of curved to fit the blade. You come down here to the thin part of the blade and clip it on. And that's the other part of it too. Like, you do have to kind of pressure clip it over the blade, even at the thinnest part, which makes me feel it's going to start chipping this paint if you do it too often. And then this clip can go right in here to allow it to store awkwardly in vehicle mode. Again, you can have this attached to the backpack. You can leave these two pieces on this backpack, I think, for the most part during transformation. I don't think it gets in the way of anything. But it's still just two extra pieces that I feel like with, well, like in the case of the gun, it's already fixed. With a slightly different engineering. Like if this had been able to peg in right here into this peg, so it sat along the car like that. Or if this had been able to peg in to either one of these pegs where it sat along the car like that. It's still a little awkward, but it's less awkward here than hanging out on the side of the car in this weird, I mean, I guess you could have it facing forward and looking like that, but it's still weird. And also not requiring a whole extra piece. Anyway, like I said, that's my one real quibble with this guy. Just getting it out of the way right off the bat, so it's nice that that worked out that way, that it was right here at the beginning. He does already have a repo label on him. I couldn't, had him in robot mode, and I'm like, I can't deal with him without the symbol there. It's some robots I can wait a little while until I decide if I like them to put a symbol on, and it was worth putting a symbol on him, but I had to go ahead and put that on there. Usually I would at least wait until after the review, but like I couldn't leave that alone. So whatever. But here he is in car mode. I kind of dig he's got rubber tires back here, and again, it's a slightly different car mode because the pieces don't come up and form like a skinnier back end like it does in a lot of versions. But it's a little different, but I dig it. The little cockpit here does open. There's a little seat, a little too big for like a Titan Master, but you could probably get like one of the Microman or Diaclone pilots to sit in there if you wanted. Yeah, and he rolls pretty well, nice and solid. Now, you may go ahead and transform the wheels for helicopter mode, and you basically it's just friction clicks into place. Some of them had an issue where these were swapped, and and you'll know because if you're swapped when you close them, you can see this little kind of flat V-shaped groove here. It goes down, over, and up here. It matches here, and it goes back up toward the leg. If you get them and they're reversed, it'll go down and then it'll go over and then down this way. It won't look right. It doesn't affect the transformation at all. It just doesn't let these grooves line up properly. It's real easy to fix. You just pop off this screw cover right here. Again, like a toothpick or something in that little open area will pop that right off. And then there's two screws inside the leg, like this one. I think this one right here, and then one inside here. And you just swap the pieces. It's very easy to do. And to transform them from car to helicopter, go ahead and take that off. Go ahead and untab this green piece here. Just lift that up like that. Rotate this around. Fold this up onto the top here. Fold this back. These tabs are going to tab in there. And we've got the top of the helicopter coming together here. Just like this. This green piece right here, once you've got that untabbed, go ahead and untab the arms, or the front wheels, or whatever you want to call them here, that whole assembly. This slides up. You'll see there's a couple notches here where it stops. Here is where you're going to want it. Right here in the middle is where you're going to want it for helicopter mode, but I find it's a little easier here to get everything lined up if you go ahead and slide it all the way up into the robot mode position, and then we'll slide it back here in a minute. So come down here. Go ahead and flip this open. Fold the wheels into the middle, close this back up. Take the legs, unpeg them from the side of the waist here. There's a little tab, go ahead and fold that tab up into the tab. I'll be coming back to robot mode, this can get stuck. You might get it's gonna be a little difficult to get them pried back open. So there is a little gap down there, but that's a little minor nitpick. So bring this down. Go ahead and flip the kneecap out here. And then this piece in the middle comes up, extends, flips around on the hinge. And you want this kneecap to stay up. Rotate this around. As you can see, there's a little slot here. I'm gonna rotate this all the way around this piece. And then there's a tab here that's gonna tab into that slot. Just like that. And then fold this panel out. Same over here. You didn't tab that in, that was a much. There's got to be a way to do that easier on the other side. Bring the knees down. And then you're going to fold these up. And like I said, this is why it's easier to have this forward, because you got to get the tip of this foot into this groove here in the green. And if you have this slid back, this can kind of get in the way. You can do it, but it's a whole lot easier if you just do it this way. But you're basically rotating the thigh piece here until that sits in there like that. Now, before you tab these together, I mentioned here's the slots where the gun fit in car mode. There's a very similar one right in here, and it doesn't matter. You can actually, it doesn't matter. You got to do it on this side. Only one side has it. But you plug this in here, clip it in right there like that, and then there's a little tab right next to the screw here, a little slot that this little part of the gun's going to tab into. So once you've got this all transformed, fold this up. You're going to kind of slide it in under there. And then when you snap everything together, you snap it together up here on top of the gray piece, as well as go ahead and start prying that together. And then just you need to wiggle the gun a little bit to line that up as you snap the rest of it together. But that tab will go right in there. It'll tab together over here. Pull this piece out and tab the whole tail together. Get everything lined up properly. Just like that, and the gun stores back here in the back end of the helicopter mode. Once you've got that done, you can go ahead and take this, and you can see there's some little tabs here that fit in some little slots here on the back of the gray piece. So slide that up. You may need to wiggle a little bit to get it all locked in properly, but latch that back in like that. And we're just about done here. We just got to do the front end. So these pieces right here, go ahead and take this piece and unlatch it on both sides. This little yellow piece. Lift, untab it from back here. This whole kind of green panel assembly here. Lift it up, because it's going to up and back. This piece folds out to the side, folds up, and flattens down like that. Take the whole arm piece here and rotate it around, pull it out, and rotate it around where the light green meets the dark green. Fold it out and around, and there's a tab here you can see that's going to tab onto. And then there's a post on this little black piece that's going to tab into the bottom of the arm here. Like that. You can also, now you can lock it together like this. Once you get all this stuff, it will tab together. You can bring this down, and you can see it'll tab into the side of the body. Like that for helicopter mode. But you can also, if you wish, there's some side fillers for robot mode, these little panels in here. Let me see if I can't get to it real quick. So lift this up, put this down and around, put the whole arm around, bring that up and tab it together. There we go. Tab that in. Make sure that's straight up. But inside here on the body, you kind of need to get up under here first. You can use the tip of the sword because there's a fold there. Come here. There we go, Spudger. Come on, panel. Because you need it to fold in the middle. There we go. To get past this centerpiece. There we go. So you fold that up. So you can use this, if you fold this down and around like that, there's a tab that will tab into the side here. Wait, no it doesn't. No, it's right here. It's the green tabs into the side here. There we go, like that. So tab the little green part from his arm into that, and that's how you know you got it all lined up right. And then come down here, snap this down onto the top, and then there's some little tabs here on the body of the vehicle that will tab into the pieces here. It's just a matter of wiggling it all into place. There we go, like that. And then you can fold this back part down wherever you want. It doesn't really tab into place. You can fold it straight down like that. If you want to have it folded down like that, however you want to do the helicopter piece here, is fine. I certainly don't care. So you do that, fold all this down and around, lock it together, and then you take the sword, split it in half. And actually, it's a little bit more difficult now that I am trying to do it behind the camera, because he actually is a fairly decent transformation. It's not super difficult. It's not super tricky. It's just a matter of getting it all unfolded. But like, this does kind of freely spin. I could probably lube the piece it plugs into and make it spin a little bit more freely than that. But I mean, like, if you push it, it will spin around a few times before it stops, depending on how much it wants to cooperate. But there's this helicopter mode. You can also, as an alternative, I meant to point this out, if you want to use these clip-on pieces and you think you might want to have them around, you can. They do both fit in that cockpit. Although the cockpit doesn't clip close, so that is a possibility of potentially losing it if that opens up while you're carrying it around. But yeah, there's his helicopter mode, which is pretty cool. And then on to robot mode. Go ahead and put his sword together. Let's go ahead and flip that piece right there out. Untab all these panels right here. Come under the body, make sure these stay out to the side here. Bring this up, untab the arm, rotate it. Again, fold this up. Actually, fold this like this, up and around, and then fold this around like that. Just get that up and out of the way for the time being. Fold that all up. Fold it, great. Come under here. The green, oh yeah, you gotta open. Get the legs back open. Again, to split them apart. Pop the gun out. Again, you can do this without, it helps if you slide that up a little bit. Bring the legs out to the side. Fold this whole panel back up. Make sure the knee piece comes up, back into the leg. Fold this around to the back of the leg. Just rotate the leg down like that. Same over here. Make sure this piece comes up. Snap that piece back into place. Rotate the leg down. Do the feet in a minute here. The feet, just bring the heel down like this. The heels are die cast, and then bring the toe down like that. Just like that. Flatten the foot out however you wish. There we go. Same over here. Bring the toe down, bring the heel down. Just kind of straighten it out. Feet are done. Come up here to the top of the body. Up to the top. Refocus. All right, and then on the back here, like I said, take the backpack, slide it down, because you want to. You gotta get this popping, and this needs to come all the way out. Rotate the chest down and around, and again, make sure these are all the way out, because these will tab into the back there. Make sure that the side fillers are tabbed into the front. And then tab this down into here. Bring his head down. Fold this up. And then slide this backpack assembly all the way up here. Like that. Again, if you want, you can use those same adapters to store the weapons here on the back of the robot mode. They're up in there right now. And then for these pieces, you take this, rotate it around. Oh, if it didn't show off in vehicle mode, he does have, in car mode, he does have headlights. Meant to show that off. Oh well. So we bring this down, snap it around, and then this piece folds kind of all up like this and tabs into the back. Like that. Same on this side. Just like that. Come down here. And then on the arms, he's open up the bottom part, flip out his fully articulated hands. He's got joints all over the place in there. Same on this side. And there is SALTUS in robot mode. He's big, he's beefy, he's stable. Good once over and down. And a nice representation of Springer. The head sculpt's good. Let's get up here on that head sculpt. Yeah, look at that. I don't think there's any Springer that's 100% captured the cartoon look toy-wise, but that's actually a pretty decent head sculpt. He does have some little panels that can open up in his forearms. Not sure why, but they're there. And these shoulder pads up here, it shows there's a couple different configurations. You can have them like this, or they will also, if you prefer to have them on top, they do lock into place this way as well. So up to you how you want the shoulders configured. If you don't mind them sitting a little loose, you can even have them they don't lock into place, but if you want to have them more at an angle like that, you can do that too. But officially the shoulders go like this, but you've got a couple options there. And again, the gun, you just take this, flip that down so it's got a handle, which tabs into his hands. You can see the fingers have double ball joint at the thumbs, hinged fingers, all the way down, individual fingers. Although I think the middle two fingers, actually, only the first finger has all the joints, but all of them are individually posable. Oh, and then there's also this elbow joint. When you bring this back, you bring the elbows back, bring this all the way back, and then that kind of fills out his elbow joint. You can see it's like a thin post here for transformation. It comes up here like this, and then there's this knob back here. If you bring this all the way down and click it together and then rotate it forward, he's got a fully arm joint, which is also a neat little feature. We give him his gun, give him his sword, or you can give him, like I said, before we give him the sword, let's give him his. You just got to kind of wrap his hands around it because it doesn't tab in like the gun and sword do. But if you want to give him a spear there, you can. Come here, sword. You just bring that down, peg it in, wrap his hand around it, and there he is, ready to fight. I'm very happy with this. Like I said, my only real issue is the weapon storage in car mode. He's got nice die cast. You can see the thighs, the feet. I think there's some up here in the chest as well. But very nice, solid overall, very nicely proportioned, well balanced. He's got look up and down, side to side head. Decent shoulders in both directions, bicep swivel. You saw the elbows, the articulated fingers, wrist swivel. He does have bicep swivel. He does have a waist swivel. He's got these little waist guards that can move, ratcheting hips front and back, side to side. Thigh swivel, nice dual hinge knees there. You can get them all the way folded up. Decent posability in the foot as well as some ankle tilt. So a nice solid posable Springer, where for the most part his weight is distributed well enough that you can get some nice poses out. And the only place the weight is a little off is helicopter mode. Doesn't like to sit flat because of where all the metal's at, but it's a minor quibble again. Quick comparisons. Here he is with Ocular Max's RC. Should go ahead and just stand her in front. She's a little crooked. Here. Stand up straight, RC. There we go. There you go. And then also with Masterpiece Hot Rod. So yeah, he's a very solid, very cool representation of Springer. Might be my favorite the more I play with him of the third-party Springers. Granted, I haven't had... The only ones I've played with are Unique Toys Allen, which was also a fun figure. Open and Play Big Spring, which again is a lower price point figure, is really solid for the price point. And then this guy. But he's a really nice representation and a lot of fun. And not super difficult to transform. The other two I mentioned were not super crazy either. I have not, like again, I haven't played with Fans Toys, so I'm not sure exactly how difficult his transformation is. But there is Perfection Series PS-12 SALTUS from Ocular Max. Oh, here he is. Since we can show him holding it, he can't hold the bomb, but someone set him up the bomb.